Hi, welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. If you're just joining us now, you're going to want to catch the first segment because it was filled with all kinds of goodness. You can do that by going to nowmedia.tv and clicking on our show, Power CEOs. But without further ado, let's get back into this amazing conversation. So before the break, we talked about what was it like when we jumped, when we decided to go all in on investing in entrepreneurship and being all in on us. We talked a little bit about boundaries and how to be an entrepreneur, or maybe have a job and an investment or a side gig, and still have time for family. But now I want to kind of switch gears a little bit, and I want to talk about the hardest day that you had, the day that you woke up and you wanted to throw in the towel because it's just, you've been grinding, things are not going well, maybe it's a project that just every day is kind of dredging, and you wake up and you're like, I don't have it today. I want to know, what is it that you do in order to pick yourself up to keep going? Like, do you have a habit? Do you have a routine? Is there something that you do to shake it up so that you can pick yourself up, get energized, and keep going? And I'm going to let Chris answer this one first.
Oh my God. how we don't have long enough for me to tell you. I've had so many of those days where, my craziness is I love old houses. So I keep buying old houses, and every time I buy an old house, I think I'm never buying another old house until I see this other old house and I go buy that one. But yeah, there's this one house and I think it's haunted. I really truly think this house is haunted because every time I go there, my guys say, I hate to tell you this, but we got another problem. So, and the way I pick myself up is you just have to go, okay, well, there's tomorrow, and this will be fixed, and just have to wait till tomorrow.
Awesome. And so when you're there and you're picking yourself up and you're like, this is just going to have to be fixed and we'll keep it moving, do you do anything to get your energy up? Like when you hit those lows, do you go for a walk? Do you move your body? Do you change? Do you call your coach?
Play with my dog.
That's a good one.
The best dog. He's wonderful. So he does, and you know how dogs, they love you no matter what. They always wag their tail, they always lick you. So, he's probably the best thing in my life.
That's true.
Other than you.
Unconditional love. There you go.
Yes, unconditional love.
I love it. And so what that is, that's a break state. We call that a break state, or a way to get out of your head and get the blood flowing, or the creativity, or the fun. So I think that's fantastic. So Chris goes and plays with her puppy, and that rejuvenates her. How about you, Craig, when you're feeling those lows?
Oh man, there's a lot of them too, because they happen so often, and they may not last a long time specifically, but they come a lot in entrepreneurship. They come a lot, even in corporate America. I don't have a specific routine, although I usually just get on the phone with one of three very, very close friends that have been with me for decades, and I'll vent, I'll ask for feedback, I'll ask for advice, something like that. My coach is not always available when I need him available. But at the end of the day, I don't have a specific routine, but I do pull myself out of it because I know that action, and if I increase my action, then I will keep moving that football, and at some point I'll get a touchdown.
I love it. Increase the action. Something that we say in sports medicine is all you need to do is get into momentum, even if it's moving laterally to push through.
Yeah.
And so it's really important. I love that you take action. Your answer is to take action.
It is.
Mike, how about you on those low days? How do you pick yourself up?
Well, I'll tell you what. I heard this a while back, and it's you can't have gratitude and I guess stress at the same time. So there's something I've always been able to find. I've got a lot of great stuff and a lot of great things I can tap into, and I think I'm far luckier than most folks out there. So it's you're going to have a lot of bad days as far as an entrepreneur goes. Like one of our coaches always says, you're 52 good days a year, you're doing great. So that sets your expectations for about 300 plus bad days.
Yep, that's right.
You know,
or mediocre ones. And I love that you said gratitude, because we talk about gratitude a lot in here. We talk about you can't be like, you have to shift to a positive mindset. We
Yeah.
can't make anything happen when we're in the doldrums. So that's why I like to ask, what do people do to pick themselves up? You know, for me, everybody knows me. I come from sports medicine, so my answer is always get the body moving, because when the blood flows, the energy naturally raises, and it relieves stress for me. And so by doing that, I'm able to like kind of get out of my head into my body, and then I'm able to push forward and move through. But gratitude is something that a lot of my clients use and find very, very effective, because if you're seeing and you're focusing on the negative, all you attract and all you see is the negative. We get what we focus upon.
Sure.
We attract what we focus upon. And so it's really good that you brought that up. Thank you for that. So if you didn't take note of that, gratitudes, take some sort of action. You hear that from me every single week. Take some sort of action. Play with a pet. Get your body moving. Take some time to reset, because we want to keep in momentum. And even if we take a step back, sometimes the best thing is a step back so we get a better perspective. And then we cha-cha our way forward, right? So let's ask the next question, because I think that we are all coached by some of the same coaches, and as coaches ourselves, several of us are coaches as well, or leaders in our organizations. There is a huge responsibility as leaders and executives of our companies for us to continue to learn and grow, so that we lead by example. And so I really would love to know, what are you reading? How are you bettering yourself or learning, and making that available to the people that work for you, so that you can continue to grow as organizations? Who wants to go first?
I'll go. So every Tuesday, I'm on a founders call. Every Thursday morning, I'm on a due deals call. This is all before usually 7 a.m., right? And so it doesn't interfere with any of my corporate activities. And then every Friday morning, for about an hour and a half, I get coaching as well, and that's group coaching. And then every once in a while, I'll do a one-on-one as well with my coach. I think the key with that is that we need to invest in ourselves. I was just telling a team that I lead just the other day, what are you doing to invest in yourselves? And I'll be honest, I got really pathetic answers. It was really disappointing. And I said, if you're not going to invest in you, why would I invest in you? They didn't like that. And it can come across arrogant. I hope it didn't, because that's not my point. My point was to give them a jolt, give them a business defibrillator, right, as the med tech world, right, and jolt them so that they get off their duffs and start investing in themselves. Go take a class. I was 19 years old. I borrowed $3,300 from my mom, and I flew out to Vegas, and I spent 3 days with Tom Hopkins back in the day, had no idea what I was doing. And I look back and go, that's where it started, right? That's where it started. It took me about 7 months to pay back the $3,300 at 19 years old, but I did it. And because of that, that was the foundation of investing in myself that more people need to do, period.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up, because you're absolutely right. If we don't invest in us, no one else will. And it starts with us, and a lot of people get into entrepreneurship because they're really good at what they do. They may be a really good doctor or attorney or CPA or real estate agent or whatever. They're really good at what they do, and they get into business and they're not good at business, and they sort of fumble. But they don't invest in their business, and they don't invest in themselves in coaching or mentoring in order to grow. And that literally is the difference. And I coach hundreds of businesses every year. That is the difference between success and failure in small businesses oftentimes, because I came from medicine.
100%.
I'm a medical professional. I had to invest in business mentors and coaches because I couldn't grow a clinic on my own. I didn't know anything about business. I knew medicine.
Right.
So
Right.
I love that you said that. And I think that each and every one of us, even if it starts small, the smallest investment of your time, of your learning, whatever it is that you're going to do is going to set you forth. And so I'm going to kick it over to Chris. Chris, what do you have to add to this? Because I know you're also a coach.
Yeah, the only thing certain about business is change. And if you don't change and learn and grow, there's someone behind you who's going to run and just trample all over the top of you. So that's something you have to know. And people get stuck in a rut. And you know, the crazy thing about being stuck in a rut, it's really hard to get out of that rut.
Yeah, it
you
is.
know, but you have to, and you have to disrupt your life and change and grow. And I try at every opportunity to take coaching and reading, and anything I can learn is really important.
Yeah, and you know, something that both of you mentioned and what really comes strongly to me right now is nobody can take our knowledge away from us. So many people like to think about, oh, I don't like where I am. But when we learn, that gives us tools that it doesn't matter. You could take all of my whatever success in whatever business or whatever I'm doing away, but I now have the knowledge to go and recreate that. No one can take that away from ourselves, from us, you know?
Right.
And I can move to a completely different place and launch a completely different business, and I'm starting from ground zero, and I'm not known in that place, but I have the knowledge to build a brand, to build a business, and to do the things so that I can generate the revenue for myself to sustain. So I think it's really, really important. And when we invest in ourselves, we are our best bet.
Yeah.
We're our best return on investment. Mike, what do you want to add to this?
Christine, to her credit, she is a great coach, and I've watched her. We do a mastermind every Tuesday at 9 a.m. And I've heard this, and it's true. The teacher learns the most.
Yep.
So when you're out there coaching people and teaching and running a mastermind, and you're, for example, teaching on branding or marketing or whatever the case may be, you're going to learn the most because you have to learn the most so you can share it with knowledge and power. So, and again, the investing in yourself, you know, I've heard you get as much as 3,000% return. So I know we as investors, we get all excited when we double up.
Right.
But 3,000% return, and I can tell you, we do some trainings, and one of the particular training that we use in our company, they actually audit the results, and the results are like, you know, the investment of the training, and then the sales that occur after that, it's enormous. So it's well worth the investment to invest in yourself.
Absolutely. I heard 3,000% ROI when we invest in ourselves. It's so true. And I'm going to use just basic education as an example. I went to medical school. I went into that. If I hadn't gone into a lot of debt to do that too, if I hadn't done that, I would not have been in that career. I would not have worked with professional and Olympic athletes. I would not have switched to what I'm doing right now. And I paid that debt off 20 years ago, but I'm still delivering returns. And even though I'm not in medicine anymore, I've completely shifted in all my areas, I'm still seeing the benefit, because if I had never done that, I wouldn't be set and have the tools to do what I do today. So anytime we invest in ourselves, it just keeps going. I know you have something to add.
You know, I'm going to add one thing. You talked about, you know, the knowledge that we have, and you're so right. But one of the frustrations that I see in business is that I hear so much of the time is knowledge is power. It's really not. It's the proper use of knowledge that gives you power. Yeah. It's the proper usage of it, and that is what needs to be stirred up, right? And so that people start talking about the right way to do business, because there is a right way and a wrong way. Look at the results.
Listen, I used to sell very expensive training programs, and people would buy these things and they'd never implement them. And I never could understand why you would spend that much money and never, you know, but that's the key, right? Not the knowledge, implementing.
Oh, I'm so glad you say that, because literally every episode ends with that. You know, knowledge is this much of the equation, and the magic happens in all the rest when you take action. So and it's not just implementing. It's implementing the right action at the right time and seeing it through.
Got it.
It's the following through, because a lot of people will even learn the thing, and then they will take an action, and then when they don't see that result like that, they quit.
100%.
But no one sitting in this studio today ever quits. We know that it takes time. You know, it takes time for things to work. Like marketing, you mentioned marketing. Marketing, people will put an ad out and 3 weeks later say, oh, it's not working. No, sometimes it takes 2 months to figure out and tweak and do all the things to make an ad hit. Longer, exactly. So I think we've heard things, and I just want to point them out. We've heard invest in yourself, knowledge, proper use of knowledge, implementation, action, and persistence, and moxie, and all the things. All of that. It's like you have to have the whole picture in order to garner your success. Yeah. We have just a few more moments, but I want to quickly, based off of everything we've shared so far, a word or phrase or something that people who are watching right now who are stuck in their business and they're hearing this and they're like, what's one thing that I can actually take action on today to get me moving? What's the one thing you would suggest they do today? Mike?
Me? All right, talking about on the knowledge trail here, and coach, the whole thing, it's got to go. You've got to learn first. Goes to your head, then it's got to go to your heart, and then to your hands, which is what we're talking about. You know, putting it into implementation, into action, and if it doesn't happen, you missed one of those components.
Okay, get your components right. Your head, your heart, and then your hands. Put it into motion. What you got for me, Chris?
I would say get out of your head because so many people are afraid. I think they need to just jump. You know, don't wait. I mean, get the knowledge, get the training, but then jump. And then you're going to make a mistake. That's okay. But just do it.
Fail forward. I love it. How about you, Craig?
In order to get the yeses that you need in business, you have to have a heck of a lot of no's. It's okay. Every no leads you to that yes at some point.
Ooh, that's gold. If you didn't hear that, want to repeat that again?
Yeah, at least 100 every day.
Every no that you get is going to lead you to that ultimate yes. So for every no that you receive, whether it's 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe even 150 no's, you're that much closer to your yes.
Boom, and I think that is a mic drop. What a way for us to end a segment. We will be right back after these messages.
COVID-19